Da 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 da. Senior moment with Nurse Linda. This is Dr. Charles Campbell, the man behind the camera, and this is Nurse Linda. Medical myths. Our sections today are medical myth, general medical. First off, general myths in medicine.
Medicine and a couple fun general life myths that are still running around out there that you might find very interesting. That's why I didn't want to tell you before the show what they were. We're going to have
I
some
find
fun.
anything you tell me to be interesting. Okay,
We're
go
going to have
ahead.
some fun with those. The first one, the good old fashioned one, if you swallow chewing gum, it will leave your system in 7 years.
I never heard that one.
You haven't heard that?
Nope.
Oh, as a kid, you were always told don't swallow your chewing gum because it'll sit in your stomach for 7 years.
Oh, that was told to clog up my bowels.
Yeah, no, total myth. Total myth. Your digestive juices don't dissolve the gum as well as it does other foods, but it has no problem passing on through. So it will not sit in your stomach for 7 years.
Well, it's good to know.
Yes. If you crack your knuckles, you will develop arthritis.
I've heard that make your knuckles swell.
Yes.
Does it?
No. Okay. There's still a lot of discussion out there as to what cracking actually is. Sometimes people are telling you it's bubbles that build up in the joints, and when you bend them, you break the bubble, is what you're
I don't
doing.
think that's right.
Other people say it's actually the ligaments that tighten up, and when you bend it, it snaps over a portion of your joint. So, different things for it, but it's not a bad thing for you. It might make your knuckles a little sore because you're constantly forcing them into a different position, but
One thing about
doesn't
it
hurt
that
you.
I know for a fact, it irritates the hell out of me when somebody does it.
That is very true, and I agree with that.
What's our next medical myth?
The next one is shaving makes your hair grow back coarser and faster.
If that was the case, my face would have really, really coarse, ugly hair instead of pristine white little things.
No, that has nothing to do with it. It's coincidental. A blunt hair, after it's been cut, it's now blunt. It doesn't have a nice point to it. It's going to seem coarser than a hair that has developed a nice point. And because it's just growing, it's harder than if you let it grow, it becomes softer. So it's a myth that that's what happens. And if you pluck a hair because you're plucking it below the surface, it takes longer to grow back than if you're shaving it, which you're just cutting it at the surface. So,
Okay.
not true. Some mouthwashes stain your teeth.
I've never heard that one.
I have heard that one and never paid much attention to it, but it seems to be confined to the prescription mouthwashes that contain certain chemicals that may stain your teeth.
It's something that's supposed to stain your teeth for our son.
Okay.
Put it, swish it around, spit it out, and it's all red, and you got to brush that red off.
Yes. Yes. That was the big thing back in the day. Yes. That showed if you were missing spots when you brushed your teeth. But that didn't stain. That was temporary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit different. A full moon means more suicides or other violent behavior.
Well, I know the werewolves are out.
And people who follow the werewolves and the vampires these days and everything, but not so much. Medical people, police officers, fire, EMTs, nurses, doctors will tell you a full moon brings them out. And you will be busy if you're working that night. But studies have shown that truly isn't the case. But I'm a firm believer of it, but that's
you're out doing that stuff on this. Oh, full moon tonight.
In those full moons, yes.
Bringing extra people. Well, that's where the loony bin comes from. Crazy people from
Yes.
Lunar.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
I read.
Let's see. We've got some other good ones. Oh, this one I've heard for a long time because I'm an oncology nurse. I've dealt with this for a very long period of time. If cancer is exposed to the air during surgery, it will spread.
Will it?
No.
It doesn't spore and go?
It does not. There are certain cancers that can track, which is why there are certain cancers they will not do laparoscopic surgery on, surgery through a little cut in your belly button, because if they put the instrument in and touch the cancer and take it out, it may leave seeds along the way. But that's not exposing it to air. Not all cancers do that. Those are the types of cancers that they will want to open you up to remove the cancer completely so they keep the area confined.
Got a question. Do we have more cancer today, or we just have better way of detecting it?
We have a better way of detecting it. There are a lot of people who would have died of heart attacks and things like that, but had cancer, but nobody knew it. Because the cancer was not life-threatening. And this is now what they're actually going back to, is learning about cancers, and we'll have to do a whole show on that. Is some cancers, they watch and wait. They don't jump to treatment. They don't jump to surgery. Let's just see what happens, because they're learning some cancers are just part of the normal aging process and not life-threatening.
Okay.
So we'll do a whole big thing on that, because it's a very interesting new phenomena and belief in the way cancers are treated.
I'd like to share that.
But yes, absolutely. Let's see, what else do we have? We've got some other ones that I thought were really interesting.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, girls learned that if they had sex and went straight into the hot water bathtub, they wouldn't get pregnant.
That's funny. That's the next one I was pulling up. As long as there's no penetration, a woman can't get pregnant or catch an STD in a hot tub or swimming pool because of the chlorine.
Oh, okay.
Not true.
Oh, really?
No, true. STDs can be caught through touch, not necessarily through penetration. So by fingers, by oral connections. A hot tub or a pool do not protect you. In fact, there's other infections you can pick up in a hot tub if the hot tub water is not hot enough. It now becomes a breeding ground, like a major petri dish. If you're at that, oh, this feels good. This hot tub isn't as hot as some of them. Yeah, don't get in it. Okay, be very careful. It has to be hot enough to kill the germs. And some people don't like getting in, not just because it's hot, but because they can smell the chlorine. If you're going to get in a hot tub, you want to smell the chlorine, because you want to know that whatever's in there might be killing other germs and other bacteria that might be going on. So,
Okay. Well, that's
Absolutely.
interesting to know.
yes, a lot of things out there, a lot of interesting kinds of myths that are still running around after all these years. And ask questions. Call us at Brook Healthcare. Speak with your doctor. Speak with the nurse in the doctor's office.
Question. Question.
Yes.
Ask question.
Ask questions. Always, always ask questions. Don't believe what your neighbor told you just because you like your neighbor. How do you know what that neighbor's telling you is correct? How do you know what I'm telling you is correct? Go to your physician. Look it up.
You're an RN. You know what you're talking about.
I think I do, but if you don't believe me, look it up. The people who still have encyclopedias in their home, look it up in the encyclopedia. People that have computers, search it. Find out what's really out there. Find out what the truth is. And what I always do, if I hear something, a rumor or a statement, I look for 3 different sources. I want to hear it from 3 different people, from 3 different completely independent groups of people, that this is what's really true before I believe it or will repeat it as fact.
Well, we've been listening to Nurse Linda on Senior Moment with Nurse Linda. Medical myths.
Yes.
This was the general medical one.
General medical and just fun ones, yes.
Coming up next is mental health myths.
Yes,
There are myths about mental health.
yes there are. You'd be surprised.
Stick around, folks. We'll be back for part 2.